Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into a topic a bunch of you have been asking about, the energy transition.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one right now.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
So to really get into it, we've got a whole stack of reports, analyses, forecasts
No.
to try to really see what's going on.
Yeah.
And one of the things that kind of keeps popping up is this idea of carbon capture and storage,
Right.
or CCS.
CCS.
Is it a game changer? Is this really the thing?
Yeah.
One report here says that the market hit, get this, $8.8 billion
Wow.
globally last year,
Global.
with projections of a 16.7% annual growth rate
Okay.
through 2034.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
So what is this technology, and is it really all it's cracked up to be?
Well, it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Okay.
I mean, imagine capturing CO2 emissions directly from places like power plants,
Right.
industrial facilities,
Okay.
and then storing them safely underground. It's pretty much taking a bite out of climate change, right?
Yeah, so it's not going into the atmosphere. It's going
Sorry.
somewhere else.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, power generation alone is seeing a 17% increase in CCS applications.
Okay.
But, I mean, is that even enough?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the growth is definitely promising,
Yeah.
but you have to keep in mind the scale of this challenge.
Right.
So we have to look at overall global emissions
Okay.
and see if CCS deployment is happening fast enough to really meet those climate goals.
Right, because 17% sounds good, but if the problem's getting bigger faster
Exactly.
than 17%, then it's,
Yeah,
okay, so maybe it's part of the solution.
it could be a piece.
But it's not the end-all be-all.
Right.
Okay, so what about other approaches? I've got some analysis here that natural gas
Mm-hmm.
is being, touted as a bridge fuel
Okay.
to a low-carbon future,
Interesting.
which, I mean, isn't that a little counterintuitive? Because it's still a fossil fuel.
Well, there's definitely a conversation going on about the role of natural gas in all of this.
Right.
On the one hand, it does burn cleaner than coal and oil, so it produces fewer emissions.
Okay.
So that makes it kind of attractive as a transitional fuel as we're scaling up those renewables.
Okay, so we're seeing that reflected, actually, in the data.
Right.
This report shows that gas-focused acquisitions have jumped up quite significantly.
Interesting.
Governments, companies kind of adjusting their energy strategies.
Yeah.
But isn't there a risk that if we focus too much on natural gas, that could actually delay
Yeah.
the shift to truly clean energy sources?
That's a valid concern for sure.
Yeah.
While natural gas might offer some, short-term emissions reductions,
Okay.
it's really important that we avoid locking in a dependence on those fossil fuels.
Right.
The goal here should be a very rapid transition to renewables,
Yeah.
not just swapping one fossil fuel for another.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so natural gas it's a tricky one.
It is.
Let's move on to something that maybe is a little less controversial.
Okay.
These hybrid energy portfolios.
Yeah.
So from what I gather, it's about combining
Yeah.
different energy sources, right?
Yeah, think of it as diversifying the energy mix.
Okay.
So instead of just wind or solar, we're talking about integrating those with other sources,
Okay.
like natural gas, hydrogen, even traditional fossil fuels.
Okay, so instead of just building one massive wind farm,
Right.
you might have a wind farm coupled with some solar,
Exactly.
and then maybe even some natural gas
Exactly.
as backup.
Backup.
Yeah.
How does that work practically, though?
So the idea is to create this flexible and resilient system
Okay.
where the different energy sources complement each other.
Okay.
So for example, solar
Yeah.
provides power during the day.
Okay.
Wind might be more productive at night,
Right.
and then natural gas can kick in
Okay.
when those renewable sources are intermittent.
I see.
And this report highlights that oil and gas companies
Mm.
are actually kind of moving towards this hybrid model,
Interesting.
adding solar and wind assets
Okay.
to their portfolios. So that's a positive step.
Well, it
Yeah.
could be.
Okay.
But I think it's really important to look beyond just, the headlines here.
Right.
We have to analyze whether these investments are truly driving that shift to clean energy,
Yeah.
or if it's a way for them to kind of maintain their fossil fuel operations,
Right.
but appear green.
Greenwashing.
Exactly.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to be critical, look for that genuine commitment
Absolutely.
to a sustainable transition.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also seeing a lot here about technology playing a really crucial role in these hybrid portfolios.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
AI-powered tools are being used to optimize these systems,
Okay.
from forecasting, the energy demand
Yeah.
managing grid operations, even assessing, how financially viable a project is,
Right.
we're actually seeing a 55% increase
Yeah.
in AI-powered valuation tools
Okay.
and 70% rise in those virtual data rooms,
Oh, wow.
that facilitate remote due diligence for these, complicated projects.
Right. So technology is kind of helping to speed up this shift.
Yeah, it's streamlining the process,
Yeah.
improving efficiency,
Okay.
making it a lot easier to manage that diverse energy mix.
Right. Because if you have all these different sources,
Exactly.
you need something that can kind of make sense of it all.
Absolutely.
But we can't forget about the human element either.
Definitely not.
I mean, we need the policies.
Regulations.
Yeah.
And most importantly,
Yeah.
collective will
Collective will.
to make this happen.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's actually a perfect segue into our next topic,
Okay.
which is investment trends.
Right.
We get some really interesting data here
Okay.
about how money is flowing into the energy sector.
Interesting.
But before we jump into that, I think we need to just take a second to process
Yeah.
what we just talked about.
Yeah. Totally.
Because, wow, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Definitely a lot to think about there.
Yeah, a lot going on. So
But let's talk money.
let's talk money.
Hmm.
This report
Okay.
highlights some interesting investment trends.
Okay.
For example, ESG-linked reserve-based lending
Right.
is up by 70%.
Wow.
What is that, and why is it gaining traction?
So ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance.
Okay.
And this type of lending basically ties a company's loan terms
Okay.
to its performance in those areas.
Okay.
So essentially, companies that demonstrate strong ESG commitments
Right.
can get more favorable loan conditions.
Oh, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
a financial incentive to be more sustainable?
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
But does it actually work?
That's the million-dollar question. I mean,
yeah.
are companies actually changing what they're doing,
Yeah.
or are they just trying to get better loan rates?
Right.
Honestly, it's a bit of both.
Okay.
Some companies are really embracing these ESG principles and integrating them into their core operations.
Okay.
But others, they might be more focused on those financial incentives.
Okay.
The key here is transparency and accountability.
Right.
We need really solid metrics and reporting
Yeah.
to make sure that this type of lending is actually driving change.
Making a difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have data on green project bonds,
Okay.
specifically designed to fund those low carbon initiatives.
Right.
And they're seeing a 60% surge in growth.
Yeah, that's good news.
That's great.
Yeah.
So investors are kind of recognizing the potential here.
Yeah, it seems like they are,
Yeah.
which is great. But again, we need to make sure
Right.
these bonds are funding projects that are truly sustainable
And making a difference.
and having that measurable impact on emissions.
Okay, so there's a lot of money going into this space.
Yeah.
Which is good news,
It is?
but we have to be careful
Absolutely.
that it's being used in the right way.
Yes.
So how will these shifts in the energy landscape impact our daily lives?
Well, in a lot of ways, it already is.
Yeah.
And these changes are going to become even more profound in the years to come.
Okay, well, let's start with something simple.
Yeah.
Our wallets.
Okay.
How will this transition affect energy prices?
That's a tough one
Yeah,
because energy markets are influenced by so many things.
right.
Global supply and demand,
Yeah,
geopolitical events,
right.
government policies.
Oh, of course.
But in the long run,
Yeah,
transitioning to cleaner energy sources
right.
is expected to lead to more stable
Okay.
and potentially even lower energy prices.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, remember, fossil fuels are finite.
Right, they're going to run out.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
So their prices fluctuate
Right.
and they can be influenced by, events that are totally out of our control.
Right.
But renewables,
Yeah.
they harness the power of the sun, wind, water.
Right, those are going to keep going.
Those are unlimited, essentially.
So tapping into those resources
Yeah.
could mean a more stable energy supply.
And potentially more stable prices.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about the short-term cost
Okay.
of, building all this new energy infrastructure?
Yeah, there will definitely be upfront investments required.
Right.
But like we've been talking about,
Yeah.
there's a lot of investment coming in
Yeah.
from both the public and private sectors.
Okay.
And as these renewable energy technologies get better,
Yeah.
and as we start producing them at scale,
Oh.
the costs of production and deployment are going to keep going down.
This report says in some regions,
Yeah.
renewable energy is already cost competitive with fossil fuels.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But what about jobs?
Okay.
I think there's a lot of concern about jobs
Yeah.
as we move away from these traditional energy industries.
Right. People are worried about job losses.
Right. Is that a valid concern?
Well, it makes sense that people would be concerned whenever there's a big economic transition.
Yeah. Right.
It's true that some jobs in those fossil fuel industries might be displaced.
Right.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
this transition is creating a ton of new jobs
Oh, yeah.
in the clean energy sector.
So it's not job losses. It's just
It's a shift.
different types of jobs.
Exactly.
Oh,
Think
right.
about it. Manufacturing and installing solar panels, building those wind turbines,
Right.
developing energy storage solutions,
Yeah.
constructing smart grids,
Okay.
researching and implementing all these new energy technologies.
Right.
These are all areas where we're seeing massive job growth.
So the energy transition isn't just about environmental benefits.
No,
It's also about the economy
absolutely.
and creating new opportunities.
It's a win-win.
What role do consumers play in all of this?
Oh, consumers have a huge role to play.
Okay.
I mean, every choice we make
Yeah.
sends a signal to the market.
Okay.
From the appliances we buy, to how we travel, to the companies we support.
So by demanding sustainable products, we're driving that innovation.
And speeding up that transition to a cleaner energy future.
So it's not just those big policy decisions.
Right.
It's individual actions too.
It's a collective effort.
Okay. So I'm curious about this concept of decentralized energy systems.
Oh, interesting.
I've heard that term,
Yeah.
but I don't really know what it means.
So traditionally, we've relied on these massive centralized power plants
Right.
to generate electricity
Yeah.
and then distribute it over these big networks.
Right. Those big power lines and stuff.
Exactly.
So-
But with all the advancements in renewable energy technologies and energy storage,
Right.
we're seeing this shift towards more distributed generation.
Okay. So instead of those big power plants,
Yeah.
we have smaller scale
Exactly.
energy generation happening closer to where the energy is actually consumed.
Yeah, think rooftop solar panels
Right.
on homes and businesses,
Okay.
community-owned wind farms,
Oh, wow.
even microgrids that can operate independently
Oh, wow.
of the main grid.
Okay. So what are the advantages of that?
Well, for one, it makes the energy system more resilient.
Okay.
So if one part of the grid goes down, other parts can still function.
Oh, okay.
It also reduces transmission losses
Okay.
because the energy doesn't have to travel as far.
Right.
And maybe most importantly, it empowers individuals and communities
Right.
to become energy producers, not just consumers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
It's like democratizing energy.
exactly.
Yeah. Great.
And this trend is being further accelerated by better batteries.
Okay.
As energy storage becomes more efficient and affordable,
Right.
it gets easier to manage that intermittent nature
Right.
of renewable energy sources,
Okay.
like solar and wind.
Right.
You can store that excess energy generated
Right.
during peak production times
Right.
and then use it later when demand is higher.
So it seems like we're kind of on the verge of this complete paradigm shift
Yeah.
in the way we generate and consume energy.
It's a really exciting time.
It is, but it's kind of overwhelming too.
It's definitely a time of rapid transformation.
Yeah.
But with all this change, I think it's important to remember
Yeah.
technology is only one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
We also need good policies and regulations,
Right.
strong leadership
Yeah.
from governments and businesses,
Of course.
and an engaged and informed public.
So we all have to be on board.
We do.
Yeah. Okay.
It's multifaceted. It needs a holistic approach.
Yeah. We need everybody kind of pulling in the same direction.
We do.
Okay. So let's look ahead.
Okay.
We've talked about all these advancements happening now.
Right.
But what about the future?
Right.
What are some of the emerging trends that could reshape the energy landscape?
Oh, there's so many exciting things
Yeah.
in the pipeline. But if I had to highlight a few key areas,
Okay.
I would say keep an eye on these.
Give it the inside scoop.
First, green hydrogen.
Okay.
This is hydrogen produced using renewable energy sources, making it a truly clean fuel.
So no emissions.
It has the potential to revolutionize a lot of sectors.
Quick word.
Transportation industry, even power generation.
Okay, green hydrogen. This sounds futuristic.
It kind of is. It's like storing renewable energy in a chemical form,
Oh, wow.
so you can use it directly as a fuel
Okay.
or convert it back to electricity when you need it.
Oh, wow. So it's versatile.
Very versatile.
Okay, I'm putting green hydrogen on my list of things to research. What else is on your radar?
Another exciting area is advanced nuclear technologies.
Oh, okay.
Now, nuclear energy
Yeah.
can be controversial,
It can be.
but there are new designs coming out,
Okay.
like small modular reactors
Okay.
and next-generation fission technologies
Okay.
that address a lot of those concerns.
With traditional nuclear.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So they offer safe, reliable, and carbon-free energy.
So it's like a nuclear renaissance,
Kind of.
but a safer approach.
Yeah, much more sustainable.
Got it. Okay.
And then, of course, we have AI and machine learning.
Right.
I mean, AI is already playing a huge role
Yeah.
in optimizing those energy systems,
Okay.
improving grid management,
Yeah.
even predicting energy demand.
Right.
But the potential applications are really incredible.
Yeah.
Imagine AI-powered smart grids
Okay.
that can balance supply and demand,
On their own.
or AI algorithms that can predict equipment failures
Wow.
in power plants before they even happen.
So AI is kind of like
That's secret sauce.
It is. It's making everything better.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have green hydrogen, advanced nuclear, AI.
And we can't forget the human element.
Right.
As this energy transition unfolds,
Yeah.
we need to make sure it's a just and equitable transition.
What does that mean?
It means making sure no one is left behind,
Okay.
that communities benefit from those new green jobs,
Right.
and that everyone has access to affordable and reliable clean energy.
So sustainability isn't just about the technology.
It's about people. It's about a better future for everybody.
And that brings us back to the question of what role individuals can play
Yeah, right.
in this energy transition.
It's simple. Be informed, be engaged, and be proactive.
Okay.
Make good choices, support businesses that are committed to sustainability,
Right.
and hold our leaders accountable
Right.
for creating policies that move us towards a cleaner energy future.
So it's about knowledge and action.
It is.
This deep dive has
Yeah.
given us that knowledge.
Hopefully.
So now it's time to take action.
Exactly.
And we are back for the final part of our deep dive on the energy transition.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. It's a lot to unpack.
Definitely.
And we're still just scratching the surface.
Oh, for sure.
But as we wrap things up here,
Okay.
what's the one thing you want our listeners
Yeah.
to take away from all of this?
You know, if I had to boil it all down to just one key takeaway,
Yeah.
it would be that the energy transition isn't just about changing the way we power our world.
Okay.
It's about changing the world itself.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's about creating a future that's better,
Exactly.
more sustainable, more equitable, more resilient.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's about realizing that the decisions we make today
Yeah.
have an impact on the future,
They really do.
you know, for generations to come.
For sure.
We've seen how this transition is creating new jobs,
Right.
new industries, maybe even cheaper energy,
Potentially.
but it's not going to be easy.
There are definitely challenges.
What are some of the biggest challenges?
Well, we need to make sure this transition is fair,
Okay.
that no one is left behind.
Right.
We have to address those concerns about job losses in the old energy industries
Right.
and ensure that everyone benefits from this transition.
So it's not just about the new technology.
It's about people.
It is.
It's about creating a future that works for everybody.
And that's where our listeners come in.
Exactly. This isn't something that's just happening out there.
Yeah.
This is something we're all a part of.
Yeah.
Every choice we make, every action we take. Yeah.
Contributes to this transition.
So what can our listeners actually do to be part of this change?
So much.
Yeah.
You can start by making conscious choices
Okay.
in your own life, like choosing energy-efficient appliances,
Right.
reducing how much energy you use at home,
Okay.
maybe even exploring renewable options for your house.
Right.
Support businesses that are doing the right thing.
Okay.
Advocate for policies that speed up this transition.
So basically get informed, get involved, and do something.
Exactly.
And this deep dive has hopefully given everyone that knowledge.
I hope so.
So now it's time to put it into action.
Absolutely.
This has been a truly fascinating deep dive.
It has.
I feel inspired.
Good.
So thank you for joining us today on this exploration of the energy transition.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, stay curious, stay informed,
Yeah.
and keep pushing for that better future.
We can do this.